sense for a rogue trader to have caches where they can safely store important information. And utterly unwise to share the coordinates of such caches with anyone. Even one. I'm afraid I do not know how to find the caches, but I can offer some help. Your predecessor used this numeric code to deactivate certain defense systems in her service. If I know Lady Theodora as well as I think, then I'm quite certain that she left her caches well guarded. In that case, this code will be useful to you.
Do I owe this visit? Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
Greetings. Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, Rogue Trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the Sacred Warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherry. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherry. I will watch your back if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted? No truer words have ever been said. I'm far more exciting than some small-time peddlers from Footfall. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Jai Amira Fatqin Tamiri Ash Ifrit, the 12th daughter of the Lord of Ifrit, a distant world at the fringes of the Imperium. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago. The Koronus Expanse. A gorgeous name, isn't it? But this backwater wasn't my original destination when I escaped, Sherry. Oh no, it was the rumors of incredible freedom that brought me to the Koronus Expanse. Freedom that is generously bestowed upon everyone who can survive in these parts. All doors are open here. You can become a saint, a mogul, a kingmaker, or anyone you like, really. Here, hard work pays off. Unless you're used to lying by the roadside and complaining instead of toiling for the good of your soul, glory, wallet, or whatever floats your boat. I'm used to working hard, and so I found my blessing. I convinced my father I personally wished to oversee the inspection of imported goods. I had to get experience so I wouldn't bring shame on our family, didn't I? I made friends with traders, missionaries, and soldiers at the port. I listened to their stories, studied the charts, learned what documents I had to forge to escape the planet. A kind word here, a shiny coin there. And here I am, in the iron belly of a ship, braving the void in search of a new life. Consider it a mark of my trade. This year, Xenos, dumb-headed orcs. Who knew that we weren't the only ones to get tempted by the wreck of that raider? As for this treasure, I received it as a reward for a life that had been just a little too good. I was in a hurry to get to the Adeptus Amasakis after the Exalted One blessed me with immense wealth. I was 2 backstreets away from the den when a pathetic Ashmag attacked me, envious of somebody else's fortune. All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. It is difficult not to be aware of the powers that be, especially ones like Lord Captain Theodora. But we never met personally, as the difference between our positions was far too great. Theodora was a mighty ruler, the center of her own universe, and I, a pathetic commoner, was nothing next to her. But you were kind to me, Shireen, and in my eyes that put you above your esteemed aunt, or whoever she was to you. The dark side is the real Koronus Expanse, if you ask me. But what do you want to know about it, Shireen? Dynasty drink with criminals. Rogue traders strike deals with the Casbalica, and dozens of ships stop off for a welcome break from a long voyage. Is there a more beautiful place in the entire Imperium? The Emperor is merciful to the meek and the powerful alike. There's a job for everyone as long as they have a head on their shoulders. And if you feel like talking to him in person, the statue of the Exalted One can be seen from any asteroid. You can pray to your heart's content. An ancient crime cartel that originated with the first settlers of the Calixis sector. It is run by shadowy clans with robber barons at the helm. cross their path, and you risk making enemies all over the Koronus Expanse, or even the entire Imperium. As for the agents, they are just shameless, greedy scum. Every third person on Footfall is a Kasbalican. But that doesn't mean all that rotten filth is acting together. I've been set up more than once just so some Kasbalican can get one over on his rivals. And yet, the Kasbalica is generous to its customers, if you can afford it. Anything can be obtained, organized, and transported for the right price. The customer is always right, unless they happen to be a rat. In which case... What gave you such an outrageous idea? Was it my immaculate garment? My gorgeous jewelry? Do not worry, Shireen. I will let you know once I become a baroness, should the Exalted One will it. Just imagine the strong and fruitful alliance that could be forged between a rogue trader and the mastermind of the Kasbalica. It's not hard to do on Footfall. I spent a year working for good old Christo. He was a brave soldier who gave up the ghost in a scuffle with orcs, and then took over his business. Having a good head on your shoulders and keeping the Exalted One in your heart helps to establish new contacts quickly. Eventually, I gathered together a group of honest and loyal people, and it only took a few successful contracts for the Kasbalica to take notice. I quickly settled on Footfall and started dispensing my wisdom to my protégés and subordinates. I lost the taste for getting my hands dirty. It really is simple, Sherry. The Kasbalica runs the Imperium's black market, offering special goods to those who can afford their services. Yes, I am talking about Xeno artifacts too. Alien weapons, technology, sometimes even certain kinds of living creatures. Unlike the rogue traders whose sacred warrants make them immune even from the laws of the Exalted One, Kasbalican agents are used to hiding and covering their tracks. Nobody wants to draw unwanted attention, no matter who might take an interest. Especially now that the Koronus Expanse has a warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman. Why not? The decision is yours, Shireen. Listen, Shireen, the giver of happiness and the dearest of my friends. I am who I am. A cold trader, a Kasbalican agent, and your partner. We each have a past, and that past is sealed. I'm not prying into your soul, am I? Well, have pity on mine. It has already been gnawed at by the Arji. And if you don't like the sound of that, we'll just go our separate ways. Deal? All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. My trade means knowing the right people and non-people, having the right connections, and making sure the precious goods find their way into the hands of my no less precious customers. My wisdom includes the knowledge of the enemies of humankind, be they Xenos or the lowest scum of the Imperium, as well as the latest knowledge about how they charge for any particular curio at the Footfall Market. Not even the most cunning Arji will deceive you as long as I am with you, Shireen. I promise you that. Whatever I have can be yours too, if your unfathomable wealth isn't enough for you already, I mean. It has been known to happen. After years of dealing with Xenos, I've learned their customs, and even got a grasp of their language. Except they cringe whenever I start speaking. Arrogant sods. They dislike even our voices, but they never turn away our valuables. Then again, I'm used to seeing sour faces. In this trade, the easily offended go out of business. I have no doubt you will have to deal with Xenos sooner or later. When that time comes, Shireen, you will thank the Exalted One for sending me to stand at your side. Thank you, Shireen. Being able to read and write is chief among them. You may not be aware, but this science is beyond the abilities of billions of the Imperium subjects. And yet they happily keep drudging along in their factories, factories, fundi, and assembly lines. Me? I didn't escape Ifrit to consign myself to such misery. It was literacy that paved my path to copied orders, forged signatures, counterfeited papers. The wonderful things that make the wheels of bureaucracy turn in the right direction. Compared to the rabble on footfall, perhaps. Compared to you. Be it power or money, I still have a long way to go. I could purchase one of Footfall's asteroids, but not a planet. I could subjugate a few gangs from the shady districts, but not Vladaya. And so the answer to your question is no. I do not consider myself rich. I am not rich enough. You're fun to talk. I grew tired of scribing endless contracts and agreements neatly tucked away on Footfall. I did that for how many years? But here, among the stars, you are always balanced on a knife edge. Nothing thrills me more than the tension of a warp jump, or the danger that lurks around every corner on a planet. Footfall was beginning to make me fat and stupid, Sherry. I do not want that. Do I trust the trickster twins? By the Exalted One, no. The underhanded rogues of Footfall came up with that name for a reason. The tricks of those frenzied ashmags are all about things far more intriguing than the honest and law-abiding subjects of the Imperium can imagine. On the other hand, this is why I am keeping them close. Kor and Tora know who lifted them out of the cesspit proudly called the Shadow Quarters, and who has been feeding that ravenous beast their insatiable lust for lucre. No, they are not going to betray me if only because they know I am now a part of your entourage, Shireen. They're not going to let the biggest pie in the Imperium pass them by without trying to get a slice for themselves. Vicious, cruel, dangerous beasts. Humans hold little interest for Xenos. We are entertainment for them, a means to keep boredom at bay, a commodity. But some of them contact us once in a while using their own people. Do not deceive yourself by thinking you are safe because there are no Xenos in sight. Those Agi are as cunning as they are ruthless. They cleverly pull at the strings of spies and traitors, subjugate those who do not fall for the promised reward, transform the ones who resist their promises into soulless puppets. The Emperor watches over me, and that is why I still haven't succumbed to the fate of many of my associates who have lost their lives to the stringy scoundrels. I think we've said all there is to say on this topic. The language on Ifrit, my home world, is quite different from the one spoken in the Koronus Expanse. We bestow more than one meaning upon each word, allowing our wise men to fully express their sagacious thoughts, and us lowly commoners our base passions and desires. Take Agi, for example. That is what I call every piece of scum and villain, because Agi means evil and foe and pathetic worm unworthy of consideration. Or take Ashmag. It means fool and little brother, and blind man who stumbled and would fall into a pit without guidance. Shireen means friend and comrade and roommate in a battle formation, like we are. Or lucky lady, you mean? My heart has been coveted by proud men with hard eyes, gentle maidens with sensual voices, imperious lords and fierce leaders of void brigands. Only rogue traders have not yet featured among Jai Hedari's intimate friends. Why do you ask, Shireen? Oh, Shireen. With a few words, you have managed to make my heart flutter like a songbird caught in the snare of a skilled hunter. You enjoy being with me. Perhaps you even find me amusing? Every girl dreams of hearing that she will make a fine toy and a worthy diversion. I understand. I'm just having a little fun, Sherry. I can't possibly just say, oh, I like you too. Words as dry and dull as a voidsman's dinner. They are unworthy of us. If you are not simply amusing yourself by toying with my feelings, then why not give it a try? Go on. Or, wait, you haven't yet asked how I feel about being your romantic partner. Ask soon, Sherry. I simply cannot reject so ardent an admirer. To insult such sincere passion would be a wicked act in the eyes of the Exalted One. I have no doubt that you are a wonderful conversationalist, Sherry. I will make a note of your invitation and make sure to take you up on it when I next get hungry. But if the feelings in your soul have become a fire that is burning you up from within, then you may express them by bestowing a gift upon your humble servant. Oh, Shireen, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.
Give Genusian lilies to the girl I liked, but the species long since extinct. Now it lives only in my memory. Ask someone else, your lordship. I am too old to remember how to charm young ladies. Lord Captain.
Prior coldness. After our first meeting, I was concerned that he would turn out to be another faithless offshoot of the von Valancius dynasty, like the traitor Conrad. But now I see before me a worthy leader and servant of the Imperium. I am glad to accompany you in your endeavors. If you want to do her good, give her a dose of conscience and a fear of the Emperor. That is what she truly needs. But if you want to please her, give her some meaningless jewelry, expensive and shiny. Such baubles wield magical power over hearts like hers. If such is the rogue trader's wish, although there isn't much I can tell, I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to know? Now that I can tell you, I come from everywhere and nowhere. I am the child of officers of the Imperial Guard. I was born in the hold of a warship. Grew up following my parents' deployments from one planet to another, and lost my family in the flames of a righteous war. My memory is like wafts of smoke over a still battlefield. The gray of a ship's plating, the strict cadence of life in military camps. My mother's uniform. I loved looking at it. Then, that battle, the rumbling, the shouting, and the soot, the screams of soldiers burning alive, and the gold of the regiment's Aquila, untouched by soot or blood. The last unsullied piece of a world that was going mad. That was my last memory of my mother, and of my former life, before the Progenium and the novitiate, before my trials, before the vows. My own relic. It's the regiment's Aquila, or rather, the fragment that survived the attack, the explosions, and the fire. For me, it's a reminder that purity and radiance can be preserved, even in the heart of darkness. Become. It's such a strange word for it. It seems right, but is that how one talks about their destiny? If you're asking about the path itself, that's easy enough to answer. First, like many other orphans, I endured the Progenium. Those years were rough, but I remember the hardship fondly. Few things can compare with the feeling of satisfaction from a past trial, even if it leaves your body aching from exhaustion, or your soul wincing in pain. I was one of the best among my peers, and I was selected for the novitiate in the ranks of the Adeptus Sororitas. When the hour came, I passed the trials and took my vows. The most joyous day of my life. The Emperor's light has always been with me, but to accept it with all your heart, to utter the oaths, that is a rapture like no other. Have I ever... But that would be shameful weakness, almost heresy. Of course not. I was born for this. I live by the Emperor's will, and in his light, I myself am the light. I must be the light. For myself, and for those who ask for my protection. I was chosen to serve. But beyond that, I won't deny it. Few things elate me as much as the thought that the heretic felled by my shot will never again orphan a child. It is my pleasure to be candid.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations. I know very little about how ordinary couples come together. The books I have read always skirted around that side of life, keeping silent on the matter. A heartfelt poem, perhaps? I'm not sure Jai enjoys poetry, though. I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Well, it would have to be something that screams, "Look how much the rogue trader loves me," in the faces of everyone she meets. Like a fabulous gown beyond anything that even the noble women of Dargonus can acquire. A princess of smugglers would love the opportunity to rub the nobility's noses in her newfound privileges. Of course, always at your service, whenever you need me.
I have no unit von Valancius and his services rendered to the Adeptus Mechanicus, perhaps a request for special leniency for the unit Jai Hadari. The sentence of oblivion without servitorization that is stipulated for her crimes may instead be commuted to immediate redemptive servitude in perpetuus. Then, hypothetically, in time she would be able to compensate for a small portion of the sacrileges she has committed against the Omnissiah. It would be a most generous gift. However, this act of mercy is not advisable, for it is undeserved. May your labors be effective and fruitful.
To what do I owe this visit? Mistress Hadari is a dangerous person, and dangerous people like dangerous things. Jai is probably partial to good weapons. She even has a small but enviable collection. Such a gift would not only be practical given her perilous trade, but it would also show that you have taken an interest in her as a person and her tastes. Such demonstrations are very important when dealing with people with whom you would like to curry favor.
Shireen, there you are. I've been waiting for you. Sating a hunger greater than any bodily appetite. My curiosity. You see, a person's face, their clothes, their manner is all just a mask. Smoke from the lips of a fire breather designed to hide the truth. But the contents of chests and cupboards, they are the reflection of the soul, in which the wise can glimpse another's heart. I have been wondering what kind of person you truly are. Shireen, you besmirch my heart with the black ink of bitterest insult. If you do not trust me, search me. Am am I to prove my innocence, Shireen? Keep going, Shireen. You will strike lucky yet. Thank you. I loved the gift, Shireen. Everything the rogue trader desires. May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored with our little talk, Shireen? Is there a sweeter subject in the universe to discuss, Shireen? You have my full attention. Ask the rose if it likes to receive the kisses of the sun every morning. Ask the sand dune if it likes to feel the caressing and playful touch of the wind. Ask and hear my answer, Shireen. Then let us both be silent together about this beautiful feeling, Shireen. Oh, I have no doubt you will.
dust. Success is the only outcome I accept. I always get the job done.
Hey, what's that?
That's how it's done. An opportunity. I always keep my options open. Success is the only outcome I accept. That's how it's done. Rise to the top. Okay. What do we have here? Success is the only outcome I accept. This is intriguing. For mercy, but I will grant none. Don't let your guard down. It's as good as done. Your end is inevitable. I'll make it happen. I am ready for whatever comes. I won't stand for it. You never stood a chance. You should feel honored to witness this. I'll see to it. Your end was inevitable.
They go hand in hand.
I always keep my options open. I'll make it happen. I'll see to it. This is the only outcome I accept.